Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Today podcast. I'm your host, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your Nerd Today, Carlos Rodriguez. How are you? I hope you are well. Hope everything in life is going great for you, and I love all y'all so much. But we are doing another episode of the short form Nerd Today podcast / review of video games as we go through games I've beaten in the past year. I would say this is supposed to be like a last year project, but depression, parenthood, all that jazz. But so we are reviewing today God of War Ragnarok, one of my favorite games of last year, and maybe in general you have to listen to the whole or watch the whole podcast to find out itself. But before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to our Patreons. That's right, in May, our Patreons. You can support me at patreon.com/nerdtoday, by the way. Links all below. Are hopefully awesome. Matt and Mackie, you guys are awesome. Jeff Felshire, Brandon, Susan, my brother in crime over at Apronwear Podcast, Michael Respass. I don't know why I said it like very macho man, Michael Respass. We're back with Apronwear Podcast. So if you love wrestling, check us out. The link down below as well. Gives a sub and all that jazz. That's it. So now we're going to get into the review of God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok. Developed by Sony Santa Monica Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. I played it on a PlayStation 5 digital. From Sony Santa Monica Studios comes the sequel to the critically acclaimed God of War 2018. Fimbulwinter is underway. Kratos and Atreus must journey to each of the 9 realms in search of answers as Asgardian forces prepare for the prophesied battle that will end the world. Along the way, they will explore stunning mythical landscapes and face fearsome enemies in the form of Norse gods and monsters. The threat of Ragnarok grows ever closer. Kratos and Atreus must choose between their own safety and the safety of the realms. Gameplay. Ragnarok is a third-person action-adventure game similar to the previous entry in 2018, with some new traversal elements thanks to having the Blades of Chaos from the jump of the game, and access to other weapons as you progress the story. Where in 2018 and previous entries of the God of War games, you just play as Kratos, this time around you split your time between Kratos and his son Atreus as they try to avoid and seek answers, respectfully, to Ragnarok. I would like to say how freaking excited I was to finally play as Atreus as he pursues answers to his Loki side. Though his fight style didn't have the variety of his father Kratos has, it was still awesome from both a gameplay and story standpoint. Speaking of story, let's get into story spoilers now. The Nerd Today model applies so strongly here. The story is vital, and the story of God of War Ragnarok is top notch, which is no surprise, at least to me. Following up 2018's game was no mere feat, but Sony Santa Monica managed to up the stakes, intensity, and character moments. A lot of the linchpin for me were the Holder brothers, and obviously spoilers for the spoiler section, but getting more backstory of Brock and Sindri, finding out Brock was previously dead and Sindri brought him back but not whole, and that's what caused the divide, was devastating. And then finally finding out that who you thought was this Norse God of War tier this whole time has actually been Odin in disguise. And then he kills Brock. It was literally one of the most shocking things I've witnessed in a God of War game. I audibly gasped, and started to cry as Brock laid in Sindri's hands as he passed away. The finale of the Siege of Asgard was so satisfying, especially the fight between Odin, Freya, Atreus, and Kratos, which is so goddamn cool to see. It felt very Avengers. It felt very super action oriented, like just Atreus, Freya, and Kratos just triple teaming Odin and whooping that ass. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. Some other highlights for me were finally meeting Freya, played by the awesome Deborah Ann Wall. Freya's journey of revenge, acceptance, and understanding was also amazing. And to end on this beautiful quote that will stay for me forever. While Kratos talks to Faye about her passing away, and Faye looks to Kratos and says, "The culmination of love is grief." and yet we love despite the inevitable. Those words will just stick with me through thick and thin, and always will be in the back of my mind. It's such a beautifully bittersweet quote that really, I think, makes you understand human love. Some random notes I wanted to give as I was playing the game and just wanted to write down, and I thought it'd be really fun to listen to for this specifically. It felt great to pick up the Leviathan axe and the Blades of Chaos after all this time since 2018. The story does start very strong. I think that was a very beautiful way to start the game. The weight of the Chains side quest is beautiful, adding layers to Mimir as a character and showing that some things can't be fixed but can be better, as he's trying to fix a mistake he made in the past. Finally get to play as Atreus, as I mentioned, was very cool. Sindri calling Atreus Trey, and all I can think of that whole time was the awesomely done God of War digital series from the Completionist in G4. I thought that was very funny because they call him Trey in that, or he wants to be called Trey in that, and that was just very funny to me. The Secrets of the Saints mission is another one that really stuck with me. Kratos just wanting to spend time with his son was very beautiful. Kratos' son in the game that I just thought was beautiful. I don't fear for our child, Faye. I fear for him. He's innocent. It just, again, God of War 2018 and now God of War Ragnarok just perfectly encompassed what's going through my mind as a parent during these times. I could say, had a little bit of a mental breakdown as previously, I want to say. I just worry so much about my son and daughter, and to see Kratos vocalize that, I thought it was very special and very hit home. Like to me, especially as I'm playing, I thought that was very interesting. It just was kind of perfect timing. I think I started crying because I didn't expect to hear that in like a game. I do love that Faye mentions to Kratos another great quote. We are not our failures. We are not who we were. We must be better, which is something Kratos constantly is trying to instill into Atreus / Loki. And I think it's perfect. You know, you try to be better than the day before. I think I struggle, with that as a human. I think a lot of us do, and I think it was a really good sentiment to do that. And then one of the best things, the last mission, the last dream sequence with Faye. Sorry. I love the idea of you as a player swiping across the touchpad to apply the gold paint to Faye's hand. It's a really cool way to use the DualSense to kind of make you feel connection to Faye as Kratos. I thought it was one of the best implementations of DualSense technology that we have. And it's just swiping across, but it's a very I think if you're in the story, I think it really hits home. And I think it's really beautifully done. All right, with some, overall positive things, I have little negative to say about the game, other than it's a bit obtuse for my liking when trying to track down collectibles, but it's more of a nitpick than a full-on negative thing for me, honestly. And finally, the verdict. God of War Ragnarok takes everything that 2018 did and cranked it up to 11. Story, gameplay, and visuals all equal up to an amazing close to the Norse Mythology storyline. I can't wait to see if and when we get more of the God of War series. But till then, right now, God of War Ragnarok gets a 5 out of 5 on a Nerdy Day scale. Okay, so that's it. That's my review of God of War Ragnarok. It's hard to say if it's my favorite game of all time. It's definitely up there with The Last of Us Part 2. It may be my favorite game of the year. I think it perfectly, sums up Kratos' journey from the original PS2 games and 2018 into this beautiful ball. His character growth from then to now is one of the most impressive things I've seen in gaming, and if not all of entertainment and media in general. I think Atreus / Loki is one of the most compelling characters we've also gotten, and to play as him for a little bit, I think is really cool. I I know a lot of people are high on him, but I'm sure there's a collective that just still find him too annoying. Which, I mean, he's a child and he's supposed to be annoying when he finds out he's a god in 2018. So I never like held that as a negative thing. I think he did a great performance, Sunny. It's just a beautiful game, and I can't speak more highly of it. Especially as a dad, you know, as I mentioned earlier in the review, as a father too. Like, it's kind of perfect. You know, a lot of the quotes really hit home, and were really either bittersweet or just kind of encapsulated like how I feel as a father right now, and it just really hit home. So thank you, Sony Santa Monica, and thank you everyone out there for watching or listening to the Nerd Today podcast. If you like what you're seeing, listening to, go down below, click the links. If you want to throw me a couple bucks, please, everything's down below. But till then, I love y'all. I'll see you next time.